the spark that ignited the fire, in the heart of a restless city, where ambition buzzed louder than traffic and skyscrapers reached like clenched fists toward the heavens, there lived a young woman named Alina Cruz. She wasn't born into wealth, nor did she have the luxury of connections or inherited success. What she had was something far more dangerous, an unyielding belief that she was meant for more. For years, Alina worked in a sleek glass building downtown, under the fluorescent lights of a technology startup that promised innovation but thrived on exploitation. Her boss, Nathan Hale, was the kind of man the world mistook for a visionary, charismatic, articulate, and ruthless behind his tailored smile. He had built his company on the ideas of others, polishing their brilliance until his reflection was all that remained. Alina had joined his team as a junior strategist, invisible, overworked, and perpetually underestimated. Yet even in the monotony of her long hours, she dreamed boldly. She saw inefficiencies in the company's systems, patterns no one else noticed, and possibilities buried beneath layers of bureaucracy. She stayed up late, sketching concepts on napkins, drawing flowcharts in the margins of reports, and mapping ideas that connected technology to human need in ways no one had imagined yet. Her breakthrough came one winter night, long after the rest of the office had gone home. Snow pressed against the windows, and the hum of her computer was the only sound in the empty room. She was exhausted, but her mind burned with clarity. What if, she thought, there was a platform that could predict customer needs before they even realized them? Not through invasive data collection, but through empathy-driven algorithms. A system that understood people, not just numbers. It was more than an idea. It was a revolution waiting to happen. Alina refined it, tested small prototypes, and wrote an internal proposal. It was bold, too bold perhaps, but she believed her company would see the potential. She scheduled a presentation with Nathan, trembling with a mix of fear and hope. That day she wore her best blazer and carried the weight of sleepless nights and fragile dreams. Nathan listened quietly, nodding, asking sharp questions, taking notes. When she finished, he smiled, that thin corporate smile that never quite reached his eyes, and told her it was impressive work. 2 weeks later, Nathan called a company-wide meeting. With all the pomp and authority of a leader unveiling a breakthrough, he presented his latest innovation, the very system Alina had built from scratch. Her words, her structure, even her presentation slides, stripped of her name. The room erupted in applause. Cameras flashed. Investors nodded with admiration. Alina stood in the back, frozen. Her idea, her identity had been stolen. In the days that followed, Nathan's betrayal spread like wildfire through the company. Some whispered sympathy, others avoided her altogether. Nathan framed her as a contributor, a footnote to his genius. Within a month, he reassigned her to a smaller role, buried under menial tasks, silenced in meetings. Her dream had been taken, her voice erased, but in the quiet storm of humiliation, something inside Alina hardened. She realized then that Nathan had stolen more than her idea. He had stolen her illusion that fairness would protect her. That realization didn't break her. It freed her. She resigned a week later. No farewell email, no grand exit. Just a simple signature at the bottom of a resignation letter. The city outside looked the same, indifferent, gray. But as she walked out of those glass doors for the last time, she carried with her the single most valuable lesson of her life. Never build someone else's empire with your own bricks. The months that followed were brutal. Savings dwindled. Doubt crept in. Some nights she questioned everything, and her courage, her worth, her path. Yet every morning, when she sat at her small desk in her apartment surrounded by notes and sketches, the fire returned. She didn't just want revenge. She wanted redemption. So she began again. Alina poured herself into rebuilding her vision from the ground up. Only this time it would be hers and hers alone. She stripped the idea back to its core, improved its weaknesses, and infused it with a deeper purpose. Her goal wasn't just to predict human behavior, but to help businesses serve people with integrity, empathy, and authenticity. It wasn't about profit anymore. It was about trust. With no investors and no fancy office, she coded late into the night, learned marketing through free online courses, and designed her first prototype on a second-hand laptop. She named her startup Luma, symbolizing light, clarity after darkness. At first, no one noticed. Her pitches were rejected. Doors closed. Emails went unanswered. She was invisible once again, but this time invisibility was her armor. No one could steal what they didn't see coming. Slowly, things began to change. A small local business tried Lumina's beta version and saw their customer engagement soar. Then another. Word spread, not through press releases or advertising, but through genuine success stories. Clients loved how Lumina understood their audiences in a way no other platform could. Her first investor came 6 months later, a quiet, observant woman who said Alina reminded her of herself 20 years ago. Funding followed, then partnerships, then headlines. Within 2 years, Lumina wasn't just surviving. It was rising like a storm on the horizon, and Nathan Hale noticed his company, once unstoppable, was faltering. The innovation he had stolen had stagnated. Without Alina's mind guiding its evolution, it became clunky, impersonal, a hollow shell of what it was meant to be. Investors began to withdraw. Clients migrated to Lumina, drawn to its authenticity and human-centered vision. When Nathan finally reached out, cloaked in false humility, asking for a collaboration opportunity, Alina didn't respond. She didn't need to. Her silence was louder than any confrontation. Lumina grew beyond anyone's expectations, beyond even hers. It became a movement, inspiring a new generation of ethical entrepreneurs, proving that integrity and success could coexist. People weren't just using her platform, they believed in it. And in that belief, Alina found something deeper than triumph: peace. Looking back, she realized that Nathan's betrayal had been the catalyst she needed. Without it, she might have remained in the shadows of someone else's dream. It was pain that had birthed her purpose. Every sleepless night, every rejection, every moment of doubt. They were not setbacks, but steps toward destiny. Her journey wasn't just about revenge or even victory. It was about transformation, about becoming the kind of leader she once wished she had. She hired differently, built her team with empathy, and made sure every idea had a name attached to it, the name of the person who created it, because Alina knew too well what it felt like to be unseen. And she vowed that no one under her leadership would ever feel that way. Years later, when Lumina was featured as one of the fastest-growing ethical tech companies in the world, she stood on a stage, not to brag, not to boast, but to tell her story. She didn't name Nathan. She didn't need to. Instead, she spoke about resilience, ownership, and the power of rising after betrayal. Her words reached millions. Young entrepreneurs, especially women, wrote to her saying her story gave them courage to start, to rebuild, to believe. Her success was not loud or vengeful. It was quiet, steady, and unstoppable, the kind that didn't need to crush anyone to shine. But in its light, the shadow of her past disappeared entirely, because in the end, Nathan had built his empire on stolen ideas, but Alina had built hers on integrity. And the difference between the two was the difference between a flame and the sun. One burns out, the other rises every day. And as she stood before her team one evening, watching them brainstorm, laugh, and build the future together, Alina realized she had finally come full circle. The pain had given birth to purpose. The betrayal had become the foundation of something unbreakable. In the end, her boss hadn't destroyed her. He had forged her, and that was the greatest victory of all.